Hi everybody, I'm Marcus and today I'll be reviewing Meike's 35 and 85mm full frame prime lenses. Now Meike is a Hong Kong based manufacturing company that came out in 2005. They became famous because of the MFT lines of lenses, garnered a lot of popular reviews, especially for the price that they set it at. Now Meike has stepped up and finally made a full frame version of those lenses, and I'll let you know whether they're worth it for your money. Now let's talk about build quality. These lenses are made of very solid metal. I think these are definitely comparable to the higher end market of lenses in terms of build quality. I would say they'll definitely last very long. The focus gear that they have is extremely smooth. It goes around 300 degrees, which is very long actually. So definitely if you want to pull focus, you need a focus puller, or you can do it by hand, but it's going to be a very long throw. I would say it's definitely doable. The gears on both the aperture and the focus are very smooth. I love them. They haven't given me any troubles, but I heard from other reviews that some of them realized that the gear makes a very obnoxious noise. I would say it makes a noise, but it's definitely quiet enough in most circumstances that you're filming. But I assume it's because of the lubricant that's inside, and in colder climates sometimes the lubricant takes time to warm up and adjust in the cold temperature. So I'm in a tropical climate, so maybe that's why my focus rings is very smooth. Now when you buy this lens, they also have lens support bracket that you can put on, and what I like the most is that they have a cap, which I don't have here, but they have a cap that labels what focal length and what aperture the lens has. So this is very useful because usually most cinematographers in the past would make custom caps that would fit their lenses so that it's easily identifiable in a carrying case, so they don't have to waste time to take it out and to look at the side of the lens to find out whether or not this is the lens that they're looking for. So I think that small thought and that small attention to detail really stands out. So the lens also features a 82mm internal filter thread, which most photographic lenses also have. Outer diameter is 85mm, so if you want to put clip-on Mac boxes, that's something you have to keep in mind. However, I really hope that this outer diameter would have been 90mm. My clip-on Mac box, which is the Polar Pro, only has a 90mm attachment. I can't really use a clip-on for this. I have to use rails unless I buy a separate 85mm clip-on. If you buy the set, it also comes with a carrying case. Now this carrying case is sturdy. It's definitely not Pelican quality, but it gets the job done. Its hinges, its clips work, but if I'm tossing this around, I still have to worry that these clips would break because they seem very fragile. But then again, if you're just getting this lens, I think this case would definitely fit most cases and will definitely protect your lenses. But I'm just nitpicking, but this case, for its price, it works. Now let's get on to the thing that everyone wants to know. Is like, what makes this lens so good, and how is it compared to the competition at the same price? What makes this lens so special is that the optics used in this lens comes from the Veydra lens lineup. Now if you don't know the Veydra lens, Veydra was a very popular company back in 2015 because they were one of the first people that came out with affordable, good and cheap cinema lens, and they're also very portable and small until they ran out of business and everything was discontinued. However, the optics in those lenses were very popular, and for good reason, and it has been confirmed that Meike is using the same optics that those Veydra or Veydra, I'm not very sure, but I would say Veydra, those Veydra lenses were using. What's even better is that the founder, Ryan Avery of Veydra lenses, is also official distributor in the USA for Meike lenses. So now you know that the optics inside here are really very good. I was searching online and I wanted to buy a set of cinema primes to replace my 18-35 Sigma because I wanted to upgrade to cinema lenses, and I wanted lenses that would be cheap enough to be able to be owned for the most owner-operator kind of cinematographers. So I was looking around and I was debating between two brands, the DZOfilm and the Meike lens. Now DZOfilm has released two lineups. First is the cinema zooms. The second one is the Vespid primes. In the end, I chose the Meike lens. I'm going to tell you why I chose the Meike lens over the DZOfilm and what I think makes it so special. Besides the build quality and price, right? The DZOfilm and the Meike lens are very comparable in terms of that. However, the DZOfilm is a bit smaller and lighter than the Meike primes. But that was not enough to sway me to get the DZOfilm, because the image on this Meike lens is something I've been searching for in a lens for a very long time. Meike lens is a very sharp lens, but I would not say it's definitely not sharper than the Sigma 18-35. I would say it has a very vintage kind of sharpness. It's definitely usable for high resolution sensors also. One thing to know is that the image circle of this lens is very big. It can almost accommodate for Alexa 65. So almost all the cameras that you put this lens on, it'll definitely fit. Now, talking about the image, what makes this image so special is that the best way to describe it is that the Meike lens has a very milky and creamy sort of look to it. What I'm saying is that when I compared the DZO Vespid primes to the Meike lens, you can very apparently see that the Meike lens is more flattering for skin tones and faces, because first of all, it's a warmer lens. You can see the distinct, very smooth gradation between highlights and shadows that the Vespid primes don't seem to have. The Vespid primes seem to have like a bit more contrasty and a bit more unflattering on skin tones, but for the Meike lens, you can see that most of the image is almost like a milky feel to it. It almost reminds me of the Ingenue ENG lenses, and that's why I love these lenses. Every time I look at the image, I'm pretty much very impressed and very happy I bought them. I always love a bit of a vintage touch to it. These lenses really offer both modern and vintage characteristics. Furthermore, the chromatic aberration suppression from these lenses I feel are definitely a lot better than the DZOfilm, especially the DZO zooms. You can see the chromatic aberration is very apparent and very separated and very sharp and distracting. But for the Meike lens, they do have chromatic aberration, but I think expressed well enough. The focus breathing on the DZOfilm is very little, so if you're very worried about focus breathing, you don't have to worry about that. It's pretty much very unnoticeable in most shooting scenarios. Now, at the end of the day, what do I think about the Meike lens? Now, the only thing that I don't like about the Meike lens is that the 24mm is not out yet. It's only out in November, and you can pre-order it now. Now, I did ask Meike to lend me a lens to review. Unfortunately, they didn't get back to me. But because I'm using a Super 35 camera, the 35mm would be a 55mm and the 24mm would be a 35mm. Most of my shooting scenarios would be around the 35mm, so the 24mm would have been a lot better for me, and I actually hope that they had made the 24mm first before the 35. However, when I'm using the 35mm, I can tell you the images are so nice and silky, and I definitely love them. And that's probably the only complaint I have, is that their lineup of lenses only consists of the 35, 50 and 85mm right now, and so if you want to go on set and shoot, you don't really have a wide variety of lenses to choose from. On the other hand, the DZOfilm has a full set of cinema primes, Vespid primes ready to go. You can buy them right now in a very complete set, but for the Meike, you still have to wait for them to finish manufacturing the whole set of lenses, which may take a while and may stretch into 2022. Maybe the only other downside is that this is just a bit heavier than the DZOfilm and a bit bigger than the DZOfilm. So if you're thinking about putting wrist prime lenses on a gimbal, the DZOfilm would probably be the better bet in terms of weight and ease of use. To me, I think the image quality is more important to me, and the characteristics of the image, I don't really mind the extra bulk that the Meike has. So to end this off, do I think that the Meike lens is worth it? 100% yes. If you're an owner-operator, these lenses give you the really good bang for the buck, especially for build quality and optical quality. These lenses will last you a long time and they don't cost you that much. So I really can't wait for the finished lineup of the Meike lenses. So if you liked the video, please don't forget to subscribe and comment and like. If you have any questions, do put it in the comments below and I'll try to answer them. Yeah, I'll see you guys.